Instagram, and here's the comment section. Someone says, I thought it was Joe from Impractical Jokers. I guess they're talking about Ken.
Oh, don't do that to Joe.
I know.
Where fashion meets fun.
What?
The internet is a fickle beast, and no one is learning that lesson faster than Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Just a few weeks ago, she was the ultimate redemption story, the young woman who had survived years of abuse, finally free to live life on her own terms. She had the world at her feet, exclusive interviews, brand deals, and a massive social media following hanging onto her every word. But in the blink of an eye, the tides are shifting. The same internet that once championed her is now poking holes in her story, turning fans into skeptics and supporters into critics. It all started so perfectly.
I don't even know. And then this lady's like already leaving the baby with a sitter.
Uh-oh.
Starlight, you want to read that?
My sister Mia watched her for a few hours while Ken and I had a moment to prioritize our relationship. And after just shy of a
When Gypsy made her social media debut post-prison, it was almost cinematic. Every move felt calculated, a well-lit selfie here, a heartfelt caption about new beginnings there. It was the kind of content people eat up, the kind that makes influencers millions. She was positioning herself as a woman ready to start over.
non-stop care of a newborn, we wanted a chance to be together as a couple.
Fuck you, Gypsy.
Non-stop care for a month and try a lifetime. Gypsy.
Exactly.
Can I just ask, how is going to the mall prioritizing their relationship?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just saying. Just wondering. Just a question.
So maybe they haven't been spending that much time together in the last month because the baby's always like, wah in the way type of thing. I don't know.
Embracing a normal life after years of manipulation and confinement. But here's the thing about being in the public eye: people don't just watch, they analyze. And when your past is as complicated as Gypsy's, nothing goes unnoticed. At first, the scrutiny was like curious followers picking apart her words, comparing past statements to her new ones.
Together the whole time while they're both taking care of her. She said so herself. I mean, they're together.
And the thing is, would you really want to leave your newborn baby with anybody just within the first, God knows, like the year? Like, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, a lot of people.
But then, the cracks in her story started to show, and suddenly, the internet was no longer just watching, it was investigating. One of the biggest red flags: the inconsistencies in her memories. In past interviews, Gypsy had spoken about certain events one way, but in recent statements, the details had shifted. It didn't take long for people to start compiling side-by-side comparisons of what she had said then versus what she was saying now.
I've heard, I got criticized in the comments for saying this, but yeah, most of the people I know won't leave their baby for months, even if it's with their mom.
Exactly, because you want to be checking on them all the time.
Well, and they're obsessed with a new baby.
The contradictions weren't always blatant, but they were enough to make people pause. And once the internet senses something isn't adding up, it doesn't stop digging. Then there was her social media presence. If there's one thing Gypsy underestimated, it was just how much people were going to scrutinize every single post she made. At first, she leaned into the influencer-style branding, sharing snippets of her life, romantic posts about her husband, and reflections on her journey. But the internet wasn't just taking in the content at face value.
To be around. They're not like, let's go to the movies and let's dye my hair and let me get a Target outfit. They go to Abercrombie and Fitch.
And doesn't the priority now become the baby, not themselves? Like, the baby should be their most important priority, not...
They were reading between the lines. A simple post about enjoying life outside turned into a full-blown PR nightmare. While she may have intended it as a casual moment, some people saw it as insensitive. Comments poured in questioning why she was so quick to move on and live freely, while others in similar situations never got that chance.
And there are some people who I think take issue with the fact that your post-prison life includes a lot of fame, a lot of success, and cameras and glitz. To anybody who maybe hesitates to support you, what is your message to them?
I didn't choose this. That's the same thing. It was put on me upon arrest. So before my...
And rather than letting the criticism fade, Gypsy did what so many public figures have learned the hard way: she engaged. She didn't just ignore the backlash, she responded, defended herself, explained her choices, justified her actions, and the more she did, the more people questioned her.
An interview camera, people were invested in my life and my story, and so it was out of my control. I think what I have done is just basically share my story from my own voice, and I mean, I'd rather put the truth out there than have...
This wasn't just a woman rebuilding her life, it was someone who still felt the need to control the narrative, and that rubs some people the wrong way. Instead of making her more relatable, it made her seem defensive, almost as if she had something to prove. And then came the memoir.
About my life, and it'd be wrong. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with wanting to set the record straight.
So are you enjoying this whole cameras and lights and all that? Are you enjoying what comes with fame?
I wouldn't say enjoy, I would say more accept.
A book seemed like the perfect opportunity for Gypsy to take control of her own story, to clear up misunderstandings and put lingering doubts to rest. But that's not what happened. Instead of solidifying her truth, the memoir only added more fuel to the fire. Readers, both fans and critics, started picking it apart, and what they found wasn't just minor inconsistencies.
Trying to dress up as a human. I looked at her birth chart. She has Moon conjunction Saturn in Aquarius and sidereal, and this means she's always going to feel different. Always, she will feel like an alien. She will feel totally different from those around her.
One of the most glaring contradictions, her statements about whether she knew she had a chromosomal disorder. In one section, she claimed she had no idea. In another, she mentioned she had known since childhood. That kind of discrepancy isn't easy to overlook, and it led to even bigger questions. If she was inconsistent about that, what else in her story didn't quite add up?
Like, convince the doctors, look, she's got a hearing problem. I swear to God, just raising my right hand in the air. No. And then saying, oh, she can't see, and they take tests and they're like, well, she can see, and let's just go ahead and give her glasses anyhow or something to correct her vision. No. And then epilepsy. I mean, yeah, Dee convinced the doctors of all this right here. That's absurd.
Video of her. Yeah, I mean, I don't know for a fact, but there's video of her as a little kid basically having an epileptic.
Social media today isn't what it was when Gypsy went to prison. It's not just a place for updates, it's a battleground where narratives are built and destroyed in real time. And right now, Gypsy is in the middle of it. The same audience that once rooted for her is now watching her every move, waiting to see if her transformation is real or if it's just another role she's playing. This isn't just about one slip-up.
Epilepsy looks the exact same. It's just spaced out and then they drop. That's what she did. So I believe she had epilepsy.
And here's the key right here, which Dee claimed were caused by a chromosome.
Oh, stop
So
it.
she's already blaming her mom, Dee claimed this. So that's why I had to get this treated: asthma, sleep apnea, hearing and vision impairments, epilepsy. This is all because my mom claimed I had a chromosome deficiency, which she has. Oh, I guess this part's going to be omitted now.
It's about a pattern. The more inconsistencies people uncover, the harder it becomes to trust her version of events. Was this just a careless oversight, or was she deliberately reshaping the truth to fit a new narrative? And if she's willing to tweak certain details, what else might she be bending? In a world where every fact can be cross-checked, credibility is everything. When your own memory starts betraying you, what's left? The real question now is, can she recover from this? Or has she already lost control of the narrative? And more importantly, how much of it was ever truly under her control in the first place?
Some inconsistencies in the book and the audiobook and stuff like that. Some stuff missing. But here is Gypsy's explanation on her saying that she's going to be fixing the book.
The unbothered Gypsy. No comment to the people who hate our haters. Here we go with another comment.
So whoever wants to take it from, so this is Gypsy on TikTok. A while ago. I want to take it from the top. Charlotte.
Okay. I can't see the top.
A closer look at Gypsy's digital footprint reveals that she's always been internet savvy. And now, people are digging up pieces of her online past that don't quite fit the image she's trying to present today. Long before she was framed as a brave survivor in the media, she had a very different online persona, one that was deep into role-playing and, surprisingly, 50 Shades of Grey fan communities.
From the yellow.
Okay. Also, my book has many inconsistencies within it because during the writing and editing process, I was filming season 1 of my show. And when it came to the final edits for my book, I was very busy filming for the show. So I skimmed over the edits without taking a very close look at all the details that were written within the book. I worked with 2 other women, quote, ghostwriters, if you want to call them, to create my memoir. That writing process process was telling me them stories of my childhood, and then they wrote it and took it she's not even making sense here, and then took care of the grammatical errors.
Yes, you read that right. Back in 2015, there was an entire Facebook group where Gypsy was cosplaying as Anastasia Steele, the lead character from 50 Shades. And the photos, let's just say they don't exactly scream innocent victim.
We think a lot of those errors will be fixed. Many were typos or minor errors that unfortunately caused some to even speculate more.
Minor errors.
And that's pretty crazy that
Speculate more.
a second edition would be the entire narrative would be changed. Honestly, they're taking out bits and pieces. But go ahead, where we leave off here.
Grammatical errors.
More about the consistency of my story, right?
Yeah. Where am I? Have I to read anymore?
Yeah, I think we got it there.
They tell a different story, one of someone who was fully aware, fully engaged, and fully in control. This wasn't just a one-time thing or harmless fun. It was a glimpse into who she really was when she thought no one was watching. This was a Gypsy who wasn't bound to a wheelchair, who wasn't playing the role her mother had forced upon her.
The book club of 50 Shades, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's Gypsy Rose cosplaying as Anastasia Steele.
So she posted this on a Facebook?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she showed everybody on Facebook that she could stand up and didn't need a wheelchair.
Yeah. And yeah, you're right. I don't know why I didn't even think about that part. I want to say the Emma Rose account was the one that was contacting Aaliyah.
She was crafting a completely different version of herself, a side of her that was confident, independent, and deeply involved in shaping her own image online. So why is this part of her story missing from the narrative she's pushing now?
No, it's not right. Look at her face.
You're right.
My favorite one is the one at the bottom where she has her arms up. Where's that one?
Yeah.
She looks positively evil.
Mm-hmm.
Look, just
this is
looking.
one. Looking down. This is in her bathroom, right? I think we determined that from the wall.
Yep.
The bathroom is her safe place anywhere.
It is. This one.
Look like Indiana Jones.
If she was already this bold and independent online, how does that align with the carefully curated image of a woman finally discovering her freedom for the first time? And if this is just the tip of the iceberg, what else is still out there waiting to be uncovered? Because if there's one thing the internet never does, it's forget. And if people have already dug this up, there's no telling what else might come to light.
This is a room of an individual that has been abused.
Oh, yeah.
They always get a frog with the princess thing up here. And they get
a lot of frogs.
the unicorn.
She never slept in there, though.
She didn't.
No.
Okay, so she was spoiled. So look at this.
And those little garlands aren't like bedposts.
The past isn't just a memory for Gypsy, it's a ticking time bomb. So which version of her is real? And how much more is still lurking in the shadows, waiting to be exposed? And speaking of stories that don't quite add up, let's talk about her so-called captivity. For years, we've heard the same tale. Gypsy was locked away, forced into a life she didn't choose, a prisoner in her own home with no personal freedom. But when crime scene photos of her bedroom surfaced, they painted a very different picture.
They're attached.
Oh, they're not bedposts? Are you sure?
Oh, it's a day bed. Yeah, it's a day bed.
Oh, okay. I thought they were.
So abused. Look at this. There's dolls hanging around town. Teddy bears, dolls. I don't know what this is. Maybe it's sleeping Comforter. More dolls, more teddy bears. Stormtrooper for her vision cons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of a bleak, prison-like environment, Gypsy's room looked like something straight out of a fairy tale. A princess-themed bed, stuffed animals overflowing, a TV, a DVD player, and walls lined with personal decorations. This wasn't the image of a dungeon, it was a space designed for comfort, a place that looked safe and inviting. So, was she truly being held captive in the way the media has portrayed, or was her imprisonment more psychological than physical?
And there are some people who I think take issue with the fact that your post-prison life includes a lot of fame, a lot of success, and cameras and glitz. To anybody who maybe hesitates to support you, what is your message to them?
I didn't choose this. This the same thing. It was put on me upon arrest. So before my face even hit an interview camera, people were invested in my life and my story. And so it was out of my control. I think what I have done is just basically share my story from my own voice. And I mean, I'd rather put the truth out there than have to.
Because at the heart of it all, this was never just about locks on doors. It was about control. Her mother controlled her life in every aspect, dictating what she could say, do, and even believe.
About my life, and it
wrong. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with wanting to set the record straight.
So are you enjoying this whole like cameras and lights and all that? Are you enjoying what comes with fame?
I wouldn't say enjoy, I would say more accept.
Rose is like an alien trying to dress up as a human. I looked at her birth chart. She has Moon in conjunction Saturn in Aquarius and sidereal. And this means she's always going to feel different. Always she will feel like an alien. She will feel totally different from those around her.
But when Gypsy finally broke free, she didn't just escape her mother, she gained the power to control her own story. And this is where things start to get murky. The more Gypsy tries to craft her own narrative, the more cracks begin to show. If she was truly powerless, how did she manage to navigate secret online relationships, plan an elaborate escape, and ultimately orchestrate her mother's murder?
Instagram, and here's the comment section. Someone says, I thought it was Joe from Impractical Jokers. I guess they're talking about Ken.
Oh, don't do that to Joe.
I know.
Where fashion meets fun.
What?
What does that even mean?
I don't even know. And then this lady's like, already leaving the baby with a sitter?
Uh-oh.
Starlight, you want to read that?
My sister Mia watched her for a few hours while Ken and I had a moment to prioritize our relationship. And after just shy of a
Her shift hasn't gone unnoticed. With every curated Instagram post, she leans further into the influencer lifestyle, luxury treatments, trendy fashion, and a polished, carefully crafted image. But the real question is, how much of this is genuine and how much of it is a calculated move to cash in on the media frenzy surrounding Gypsy's release? The Blanchards are no strangers to reinvention. Just as Gypsy has carefully shaped her post-prison narrative to fit public perception, Mia appears to be doing the same, but in her own way. The question is, what's her end game?
non-stop care of a newborn. We wanted a chance to be together as a couple.
Fuck you, Gypsy.
Non-stop care for a month and try a lifetime. Gypsy.
Can I just ask, how is going to the mall prioritizing their relationship?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just saying. Just wondering. Just a question.
So maybe they haven't been spending that much time together in the last month because the baby's always like, wah in the way type of thing. I don't know.
Is she merely riding the wave of renewed interest in her family, or is she strategically carving out a space for herself in an industry where visibility equals profit? Mia's growing presence in Gypsy's story also raises another important issue. Is she helping to reshape the family's legacy, or is she simply another opportunist trying to monetize the moment?
Together the whole time while they're both taking care of her. She said so herself. I mean, they're together.
And the thing is, would you really want to leave your newborn baby with anybody just within the first, God knows, like the year? Like, I'd be cried.
Yeah, a lot of people do not. I mean, I've heard I got criticized in the comments for saying this, but yeah, most of the people I...
Because one thing is clear, Mia's rise to prominence doesn't just suggest an attempt at personal reinvention. It hints that the Blanchards may not just be seeking closure, but careers. So how much of this is about rebuilding a life, and how much is about staying relevant? Is Mia just a supporting character in Gypsy's saga, or is she crafting her own storyline, one just as meticulously planned? And if so, how long can she keep up the act before the cracks start to show?
Even if it's with their mom.
Exactly, because you want to be checking on them all the time.
Well, and they're obsessed with a new baby. That's kind of what they want, to be around. They're not like, let's go to the movies and let's dye my hair and let me get a Target outfit. They're going to Abercrombie and Fitch.
And doesn't the priority now become the baby, not themselves? Like, the baby should be their most important priority, not...
That's the thing about trying to control the narrative. You don't really get to do that when the whole world is watching. Gypsy may have thought that stepping out of prison would mark the end of her darkest chapter, but instead, it's just another twist in the saga. The internet is relentless, and the inconsistencies in her story aren't going unnoticed. That bright spotlight she once craved, it's only getting hotter. And here's the reality, you can't curate the truth. The more she tries, the more people will dig. And right now, they're digging deep. So the question remains, how long can she keep up the act before the world stops believing her altogether?